Let me ask you something. If I offered you a choice right now, $1 million in cash delivered to your door today, or one single penny that doubles every day for 30 days, which would you choose? Most people, almost everyone, would take the million. It's right there. It's certain. It's real. But those who understand how money really works would choose the penny. Every single time. By day 30, that one penny would be worth $5,368,000. Welcome to the Money Facts Lab. Today we have 10 facts about money that most people will never know. Facts that will change the way you think, spend, save, and invest. Forever. Let's go. Let's come back to that penny. On day 1, you have 1 cent. Day 5, 16 cents. Day 10, just over $5. By day 15, you still only have $163. At this point, you're probably thinking you made a terrible mistake, but then something extraordinary happens. Day 20, $5,000. Day 25, $335,000. Day 28, over $1 million. Day 30, $5,368,000. This is compound interest. Albert Einstein reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world, and said, those who understand it, earn it. Those who don't, pay it. The lesson isn't the math. The lesson is this: start small, start early, and never stop. That is the most powerful financial strategy ever discovered. Here's a number that should stop you cold. 59% of Americans could not come up with $1,000 for an emergency. Not $1,000. That means if their car breaks down tomorrow, if the washing machine stops working, if they need an unexpected medical visit, more than half of the population would have no choice but to go into debt. The average ambulance ride in the US costs over $1,100. The average auto repair, $500 to $600. And yet, most people have nothing set aside. We plan for vacations, we plan for holidays, but most of us never plan for the moment everything goes wrong. An emergency fund isn't a luxury. It's the foundation of everything else. This one is hard to hear. According to Ramsey's State of Personal Finance report, 37% of Americans, that's over 90 million people, have more credit card debt than they have saved for retirement. Think about what that means. These are people actively paying 15, 20, 25% interest on their debt, while their retirement savings earn zero. Every month, interest on that debt grows. Every month, the retirement gap grows wider, and the years keep passing. Debt doesn't just cost you money, it costs you time, and time is the one thing you can never get back. Do you know what the average price of a new car is in the United States right now? Over $50,000. And here's where it gets worse. According to Edmunds in 2025, a record 27% of people trading in their car for a new one owed more on their loan than the car was worth. That's called negative equity, and the average gap was nearly $7,000. So they're rolling $7,000 of old debt into a brand new loan, on a car that starts losing value the moment they drive it off the lot. And the average loan term? 68 months, almost 6 years, with average interest rates for used cars now approaching 12%. The car is one of the most expensive financial decisions most people will ever make, and most people make it without ever running the numbers. Let's talk about something nobody puts in the baby shower card. According to a 2025 LendingTree study, the average cost of raising a child in the United States, above and beyond everyday living expenses, is now $297,674 over 18 years. That number is up more than 25% from just 2 years ago. Daycare alone jumped over 50%. Food costs rose by nearly 30%. On average, families now spend 22% of their income on basic child-rearing expenses. Now, this isn't an argument against having children. It's an argument for being financially prepared before, during, and after one of life's most important decisions. Knowledge isn't fear. Knowledge is power. Here's a question for you. How much do you think you'll receive from Social Security when you retire? As of August 2025, the average retired American receives $2,008 per month from Social Security. That's $24,096 per year. The average rent in the United States is now over $1,700 a month. That's already $20,400 a year, just for housing, before food, before medicine, before anything else. Social Security was never designed to be your entire retirement. It was designed to be a supplement. The rest was always supposed to come from you, and yet, according to the same research, 65% of Americans feel behind on their retirement savings. 1 in 4 have nothing saved at all. The best time to start was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. $1.2 trillion. That is the total amount of credit card debt currently held by Americans. 1.2 trillion. Potenda duurstandsterdans. Tonaboperdotserds. The average household with credit card debt carries around $10,000 in balances. At an average interest rate of over 20%, that's $2,000 per year, just in interest. Not paying down the debt, just keeping the banks happy. And if you only make the minimum payment, some of those balances take over 20 years to pay off, and you'll pay 2 to 3 times the original amount. Credit cards are not free money. They are the most expensive loans most people will ever take. And most people don't realize it until it's too late. This one surprises even people who think they're doing everything right. Vanguard reports that 28% of rollover IRA accounts, that's retirement accounts people move from one job to another, sit entirely in cash, not invested, just sitting there. If those accounts had been invested over 7 years at an 8% annual return, which is a historically reasonable assumption for a diversified portfolio, they would have grown by over 73%. Instead, they sat in cash and lost purchasing power every single year to inflation. Doing nothing with your money is a financial decision. It's just usually the wrong one. We spend a lot of time talking about the numbers, but money isn't just a math problem, it's an emotional one. According to the American Psychological Association, 64% of Americans say money is a primary source of anxiety in their lives. 55% say they worry about their personal finances regularly. That's not just uncomfortable, it's expensive. Financial stress affects job performance, relationships, sleep, and health. 1 in 5 employees say their financial concerns actively hinder how they do their job. But here's the fascinating flip side of this fact. Research from the CFP board found that people who work with a financial planner report significantly greater financial peace, not necessarily because they earn more, but because they have a plan. Clarity is worth more than a raise. Knowing where you stand and where you're going is one of the most powerful things money can buy. The final fact, and perhaps the most important one, the wealthiest 1% of people in the world now own more total wealth than the bottom 90% combined. Now, There are many ways to interpret this fact, and this channel isn't here to tell you what to think politically, but there is one financial truth buried inside this number that almost everyone misses. The gap between the wealthy and everyone else is not primarily a gap in income. It's a gap in financial knowledge. The wealthy understand compound interest, they understand debt, they understand how to make money work instead of working for money. They pass these lessons to their children, and the cycle continues. But here's the thing, those lessons aren't secret anymore. They're available to anyone willing to learn them. That's why this channel exists. "10 facts. 10 windows into how money actually works. A penny that becomes 5 million. A retirement account sitting in cash, losing value every year. 90 million Americans with more credit card debt than savings, and a wealth gap that grows every single day. Not because the game is rigged, but because most people were never taught the rules. Now you know some of the rules. If this episode opened your eyes to something, subscribe to the Money Facts Lab. Every week we bring you real stories, real numbers, and the money lesson behind them all. And I want to hear from you. In the comments right now, which of these 10 facts surprised you the most? Which one hit closest to home? I'll see you in the next one.